Welcome to yet another edition of Microcontrollers Electronics Embedded System series of videos. Today I am going to talk about recent developments in the microcontroller area. Gone through the data sheet of a microcontroller from Microchip. So all the discussion will be referred to for that microcontroller only. The last 10 years or the last decade, there is no major breakthrough in the microcontroller field, but there are a lot of small developments which will add up everything, that will look like a major breakthrough. So let me come to the pin function. So if you look at the data sheet of any microcontroller of more than a decade old, a pin may be doing only one or two functions. So after time progress, they started adding more functions, and then if you look at the data sheet, it looks like that RB0 bar, this one, that one, the bar, that one bar, this one bar, that one, like that. 4 or 5 functions will be added to the microcontroller. So after some time, what happened? They stopped doing that bar, then they started putting a table. So each pin can have multiple functions, that will be explained through a table. And then now what is happening, that even the table has gone. They only once again come back to the just one descriptive letters for the pin numbers, and then any pin can be used for any digital function. So but only analog and digital cannot be mixed up. So there are separate pins for analog inputs, and then there are separate pins for digital. So analog pins can also be used as digital, but all digital pins, any pin can be used for any purpose, any digital function like UART, I2C, SPA, QSPA, etc. So there is no need of describing this pin belongs to this function. So what is happening? Previously there used to be two methods to use serial port. Either it is hardware serial port or software serial port. Now that software serial port is no longer needed, because any pin can be used for hardware purpose. So there is no need of any software function for the pins. So any pin can function as for any purpose. So this makes PCB design simpler. Schematic design and PCB design becomes simpler. Even if you make any mistake while making the PCB design, that can be corrected through software or firmware in the days. Next improvement I have observed is in the temperature range. They have quietly increased the temperature range to 125 degrees centigrade. So the boiling point of water is just 100 degrees. So the ICs can heat up beyond boiling point of water and still perform its actions. So in the coming days, there may be some devices where that CPU will be used fully and then made to heat, and then heat will be transferred through a fan, and this equipment can be kept inside a blanket which will keep yourself warm during the winter season. So any microcontroller can be used as a blanket warmer. So you can put an app that will be fully used, run the CPU at full capability, and it will heat up your blanket. So it is an imaginary. I don't know whether this will happen in the coming days or not. But anyway, your devices can become quite hot, and still it can perform nicely. Another major breakthrough is QSPA. So I have put another video exclusively for QSPA. You search it and then you can find out in my. So I will give you the link in the description area. With the advent of QSPA, you can use external memory as internal. So this extends the memory range of the microcontroller. So programs of large size, maybe that artificial intelligence can be easily implemented in any microcontroller. This is another major improvement I have noticed in the field of microcontrollers. And the number of pins also increased. Okay, I think I have seen microcontrollers with more than 100 pins also. And then it contains all the communication ports available under the sun. You name it, it will be there in the microcontroller. And then there are microcontroller comes with Wi-Fi enabled, or Zigbee enabled, or Bluetooth enabled. All those communication functions have been added into the microcontroller feature. So this major development which has happened in the last decade in the field of microcontrollers. And then ARM people who develop the processor alone, the CPU alone, has done a lot of innovation in that area. They have introduced something like a tightly coupled memory, and then there is a lot of improvements that they have done, and then they have introduced something called the dead man timer. Many of you may be knowing what is a watchdog timer, but this is a dead man timer. It is almost equal to watchdog timer. Watchdog timer runs on time, but dead man timer runs on number of cycles. So if you know a particular piece of code will take so many cycles, you can set it up, and then that code has to be completed in that cycle. If it doesn't complete, then it means that something else is happening in the processor, and then you can reset the whole microcontroller. So this is another new introduction, new concept being applied to microcontroller. They say this can be used to detect any malicious code being executed, or any virus or bug being executed in that microprocessor or microcontroller. You all may know the sleep mode to save battery power, but now there are lot many more modes of sleep. Sleep mode, dream mode, run mode, sleep mode, dream mode, deep sleep mode, idle mode, and so many modes are there in the how the processor sleep. So there is so many way of processor can sleep. I don't know whether human people can sleep in so many methods, but a microcontroller can sleep in various methods of power saving modes. So these are all improvements which has been added in the latest. Let us meet in the internal session of microcontrollers or electronics and embedded system. Till then, see you. Tata. Bye bye.